Hey guys, it's Kip from Famous by Friday Pickleball. Got a brand new paddle to review. Very excited about this. The new Owl PXE. This paddle is totally different. It came about because there are noise restrictions, as we know of, in parts of the US, all over Canada, and companies are trying to reduce the sound of either the paddle or the pickleball so people in those areas can play. So Owl came up with this paddle that they say on their website is going to reduce the sound by 50%. USAPA Pickleball also came up with a quiet division, and this is their first paddle in that division, the quiet division. Now, all of that's very cool, but how is it going to affect playability and performance? Now, this paddle is totally different on kind of how it's structured as well. It has a nanotechnology enhanced polypropylene honeycomb core that's designed to reduce the sound. It also has a carbon acoustine composite surface that looks almost like the walls in music rooms that keep the noise out of the rest of the building. That's almost what it looks and feels like. I don't know how well this will wear. I don't know what will happen if it gets wet, and I really worry about this hitting the surface of the courts. I wonder about just how well this paddle will hold up, but I don't know. I don't know how to play. A little housekeeping: 16.5 inches long, 7.5 inches wide, 16 millimeters thick, 5.5 inch long handle with a 4.25 inch circumference. This paddle does only come in at 7.4 ounces. It's not thermoformed, doesn't have foam injected, anything like that. So it's very light. Now, maybe with Velcro, you can add some lead tape. I tried to put some lead tape on here and it just fell off. There's no real way to secure that. So I'm gonna try it out with the 7.4 ounces and see how it goes. Totally different. I have no idea what to expect, but I'm headed out to the courts now. I have a feeling everybody will want to grab this and hit with it a little bit. I have no idea what it's going to do. Very excited about the technology though, and Al has done a cool job with this. Okay, headed out to the courts right now. Hope you're going to be there. We'll all hit this Owl PXE together and see what it does. All right, I'll be back. right, guys, the Owl. The USAPA quiet paddle. Let's see what we can do here. Pretty accurate. The wind's coming from behind me today. A little bit left to right. Still, that was crazy accurate. This paddle is surprisingly good. I didn't know what to expect, just kind of like everybody else with the Owl, but it does some cool stuff. Don't really have a target. Nice depth. Let me try and spin a couple. Spin, I think, is where this paddle really shines. Hopefully the camera picks this up. All right. Oh my gosh, that turn, the camera won't pick that up, but that turned probably 8 feet. Try and go right at the target. Oh my gosh, that ball spins. Oh my gosh. I hope the camera's really picking this up. I'm gonna try one more here. Oh my gosh, the Owl. Wow. Lots of dwell time on that paddle. That ball really spins. That surface, if you're a spin enthusiast, might want to think about the Owl. Hey guys, I'm back. Just spent the last couple of weeks getting to know the new Owl PXE. Had no idea what to expect with this paddle. Had no idea how it would perform. A couple of my friends kind of picked it up and they said it looked like an arts and crafts project, and it does a little bit. So I had no idea how it would perform or what it would do. Got it out on the court, and the very first thing you notice is it is very quiet. You don't really know how well you've hit the ball because every ball kind of sounds the same. It's just very, very, very quiet. But other than that, it does do some cool things. I'm going to kind of bounce through the attributes of this paddle. What it does well, it does kind of surprisingly well. It is a very soft paddle. You can actually kind of squeeze this a little bit. The acoustine surface, along with the soft core, the ball just stays on here a long time. So it has a very long dwell time, which means you can really spin this ball. If you're a spin enthusiast, you'll just spin it, top spin, slice, side spin, whatever you want to do, you get a ton of spin. I have a friend that's left-handed. He puts all that spin on the ball. He loved this paddle. You can really spin it. Now, with the long dwell time and almost this little trampoline effect off this acoustine surface, you do get power as well. The average service speed on this paddle was over 50 miles an hour. I was shocked. That, because it's at 7.4 ounces, you don't think, oh, it's going to have a lot of power. And when you hit it, you don't have this click or this pop or this kind of knocking sound that you really meant you hit it right in the sweet spot. It just doesn't have much sound at all, so you don't think you've hit it very hard, and then suddenly you look at the gun and think, well, wow, it's really jumping off here. Part of that, though, is that trampoline effect. That ball stays on there a long time and then pushes off. That affects your consistency. It is accurate. You do have control, but the consistency is not perfect because that ball stays on there so long. It spins even if you don't intend for it to spin. It's going to stay there. It's going to kind of spin it, and it's going to kind of throw it. But other than that, it does some really cool things. The feedback and feel is very good, except if the sound feedback is not there. Like I said, you really don't hear that ball hit the paddle face at all. It's very quiet. Now, it's not a thermoform paddle. I think I mentioned that in the opener. So anything out here around the edges is just dead. You've got to hit this ball in the sweet spot. But if you do, you can kind of control it. You can do some cool things. You can reset the ball. You can drive the ball. You can slice it. You can do a lot of things. This is a cool paddle. It does some things well. Now, I do have a couple of concerns with this. Now that I say what it does well, I really am concerned with how well this paddle will stand up to any sort of abuse or just any sort of striking the surface. I really worry that this kind of felt almost is just going to be destroyed out here in the end, and there's no way to put tape over this and protect it. That concerns me. However, I did take it out one day. I was doing a clinic, and everybody wanted to hit the ball, and it started raining And so I let this paddle get wet. And I thought, oh, I'm going to see how it just. I didn't know whether the paddle would even be here after it got as wet as it got. But honestly, take a towel, wipe it off. It actually cleans it pretty well because it was starting to get a little dirty from where the ball was hitting. So the water doesn't seem to bother it a whole lot, but I do worry what the court will do to it, if because we all tend to hit it on the ground a little bit, and I worry that that's going to really damage it. The other thing is, and I mentioned this in the opener, it is 7.4 ounces. There's no way. I was going to try and experiment with some Velcro and some lead tape. There's no real way to put lead tape on here. It just falls off. So it is light. I almost wish they would make a little bit heavier paddle and see what happens there. This paddle is cool, and being the first in the USAPA quiet paddle zone, it is a very cool entry, and it's going to allow the people in those areas, the sound restricted areas, to have a paddle to play with, and it really does a good job. I'm excited to see, honestly, what OWL comes out with. I'm excited to see what other companies come out with, what they're going to try next. But this paddle works, and it does some things sound-wise that are super cool, and you can still play the game with this. It's not quite what we've come to expect in paddles and current technology, but it's very close, and it does things way better than I thought it was going to when I first walked out on the court with this paddle. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't mind. I could play with this anytime. I was kind of worried that, oh, the performance is going to be so bad. This is going to be a long couple of weeks hitting with this, but it really wasn't. I enjoyed dragging this out and hitting with it and having fun with it and spinning the ball. I'm not a big spin enthusiast, but you can really spin the ball with this, and that is a lot of fun. Serving was probably the best area of this paddle. You could just rip into that serve. Your serve was going to be 50 miles an hour average, and the spin, you could jump it. I mean, that's where this really was probably the most fun of any spot on the court as far as what it would do. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I'm anxious to hear if you've tried this paddle, or if you know someone that's playing with it, or if you live in one of these areas and this is what your go-to paddle is. Very exciting. All right, guys, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I'll be back with more content soon. All right, the OWL PXE. All right. Bye, guys.
Game was so easy.